That's what I learned in art school, how to Google. Seriously though, I remember I was in a graphic design class and I was talking to my professor. I'm like, hey, I'm trying to do this thing. What do you suggest? And he's like, just Google it. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm paying you $500 a credit for this. Ugh. Anyway, so what am I getting at here? So my background has been art since I was super duper young. I remember drawing my first heart, for goodness sakes. I was sitting down in my daycare center, and this gal taught me how to draw a heart. And that is so burnt into my memory. When I started growing up, I really just loved to draw, to color, to paint. Anything like that was in my realm. When I got a little bit older in middle school, I got really into crafting. Crafting was my jam. I loved to do scrapbooking and crocheting and all these weird little like box kit things that were just really, I don't know, really fun to me. And when I got into my older years, into high school, I actually took I took tons and tons of the art classes. I took specialty classes, distinct for watercolor, for acrylic, for drawing. I took a college class while I was in high school for drawing because I realized that's what I wanted to do. And so when I got into college, I decided, all right, I'm going to be an artist. I'm going to be a fine artist, and I'm going to go into galleries, and I'm going to do big things. Very excited, very motivated. I won awards. I did so much. I went to art galleries. I met lots of people. I felt very good about where I was heading in life. Until about my last year of college, when I started realizing that I had like $52,000 of debt, and realizing that my art supplies, I could not afford my own art supplies by the end of college because of how expensive they were, and how the job I was working was stipend based, which means that when I did work for the school, I didn't get money. It was going towards my loans and paying those off, which means I had no money. I had no money to buy art supplies. And that's when I realized I needed stability. And I got a minor in graphic design because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to just miraculously become a famous artist straight out of school. And so I got my graphic design minor. And I got my first job not a first job, I had plenty of jobs before this, but I mean, my job after college was really stupid. I hated it. I was in a print shop working at what you call Staples these days. Printing copies, making copies, dealing with assholes. It was awful. Hated it. I would cry before going to work. I hated it. And then I got a job being a stationery artist, which was great. I loved that job. It was great. Wonderful job. And it was fine until I got laid off about 3 years later, which made me really upset and sad. And I was jobless for a while. And during that time, I kind of stopped doing more of the fine art. I did a lot more graphic design, obviously. I did a lot of game design, like board game design. It was really good. I really did enjoy doing those things. But I definitely realized by that point that I was not going to sit there and become a fine artist and make millions of dollars like, Damien Hirst. Like, that just wasn't going to be my thing. I wasn't a Jeff Koons, I definitely had my own style, and I loved to do different, techniques and such, but I just knew how difficult that would be. And I didn't want to be a starving artist. I wanted to be able to take care of myself and provide for myself. I wanted to be independent. I didn't want to rely on anyone. And that's what I did. I did that. Eventually, I moved far away from where I lived, thousands of miles away. And I got another job doing stationery stuff. And again, at that point, I went through some really horrible things in my personal life that were really tragic. And I was a very broken person for a while working at these stationery shops, and I didn't realize at the time how abusive these shops were until I got out and I healed from those situations that I was in. And I got through those situations doing two things. One was art. Three things, I should say, three. One of those things was art, painting, drawing, doing something with my hands that was artistic. I really got back into things, back into the swing of things. I loved it. It was such a good outlet. I also, secondly, went to a lot of therapy. Lots and lots and lots and lots. Would not trade that for the world. Highly recommend, if you go through something traumatic, go do therapy, okay? Please seek help if you are in a desperate situation or a bad situation. Go get help. Highly recommend. And then three, I took care of myself. I decided I was not going to become a bitter, angry person. I decided I wanted to become healthier. I worked out like 3 hours a day. It became like my lifestyle was art and working out. And that was great. It was art, working out, and therapy. And it was all really, really, I think it really helped me become a better person and to understand myself better. So if you are ever in a situation that's terrible, please go help yourself. Date yourself, love yourself, be kind to yourself in those time periods. Even not in those time periods, be kind to yourself. Anyways, I also had a dog that I had to take care of, so I felt like I needed to become independent, very independent, make my own money, do the things that I had to do. And so after that, I think what happened after that, I worked as a designer again for a while until COVID hit and I got laid off again for the second time in my life. And this will not be the final time. I just have horrible luck with jobs for some reason. So I got laid off during COVID and I did not find a job for months. Like 6 months I was jobless and I was very scared. I was very scared at times. I thought, oh my gosh, I'm applying to all these jobs. No one's taking me. I decided to switch my career. I switched my career and I became a project manager because I knew, one, that I was an organized person, and two, that it paid way more than being an artist or a graphic designer. So I did that and I got a job. It was kind of a surprise. I was not expecting it, but it worked out. And I had that job for 3 years. And it was very good. I loved that job. And I would totally take it again if I could. But unfortunately, that one also laid me off. And I became a professional VTuber after that. Because I, thankfully, like I had mentioned, I always wanted to be able to support myself. And so I've always been very careful and organized about money. And I decided that I will take time to be a VTuber and just kind of recover from all of that and do stuff that I want to do, be creative, be artistic, like I had been. And that's what I'm going to do for now. And I'm really looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to spending this time focusing on making, good content, making friends, enjoying being the content creator that I can be. And I'm going to do other projects on the side as well. So for example, gardening is a really big one of mine. There is something magical about growing plants. Magical. Highly recommend it too. Oh, it's like all of my troubles go away and the plants just grow and they're beautiful. And you invest in those plants and they give back to you. Whether that's flowers or vegetables or just foliage, they're so nice. Oh. Any whoosies. So I want to reflect that piece and that wonderful sense of just self-worth and kindness through my streams and being able to just have a nice time together, relax, chill, have a good break time if you're working, relax. And that's my story. That's how I got to be a VTuber. And I'm sticking to it. Okay. So yeah, there you go. That's my story. I hope you enjoyed it. I am still obviously, working on my story. Stories don't always end. This is the never-ending story. No, I'm just kidding. But my story is definitely still in progress. So stick around, stay tuned, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.